Brandon.
And I'm Brandon.
And I'm Comrade.
Wow, you sounded like Danny
Yeah.
in that. That was the first.
You sounded like Danny.
I was trying to be Eeyore, to be honest.
I've never heard
man.
you sound like that
Yeah,
before. That was kind of odd.
Yeah, I know. I had 3 different scenarios I had played out in my head.
Oh my gosh.
And that was
All
the
right,
path
well, someone's excited for today. Welcome back to Apollo City Comics, everybody. And we have a pretty sweet episode today. We haven't talked about superhero video games, comic book video games, in a really long time.
I think over a year at this point.
Over a year, we've had one discussion. And check that out. That has my good friend Sam Lindsay on that. I don't know if I should have said his last name.
Can you
Everyone
give us his address as well? I would appreciate that.
Throw in some social security numbers while you're at it.
Yeah, if you can.
I got 3 credit cards, his child's birth records, and everything. But you know what? We wanted to go over kind of the video game industry of there's so much coming out. There's so much that's come out recently in the last year or so. But before that, Brandon over here has a message for you guys.
Brandon over here also has a message for you guys.
What is it, boy?
No, just before you, before we, God damn it. Before we get into the episode, we would like to give a shout out to our friends over at Lesser Known Comics. If you've listened to the show before, we've interviewed, I believe, Mark, Patrick, and Charlie, basically about Lesser Known Comics, how they got involved, and all their projects they have going on and ones they've finished so far. And they are currently on their 3rd Kickstarter, right, Brandon?
Yeah, with 7 new issues in this one too. I'm pretty hyped about it.
Yeah, and they're an independent comic publisher, so they're not like, Marvel or DC level, but they got some amazing stuff there, and they're definitely worth checking out, and they definitely deserve all the recognition they can get. They have basically a crew of people that are across the world, and they all work with each other remotely. But their Kickstarter has plenty of prices that accommodate everyone. Anywhere starting from $10 and as high as $75, and each one having a plethora of perks to them. Of course, the more you back the project, the more you get in return. And I believe at I want to say at $50, $40. Yeah, $40. You definitely get all the comics in batch 3 physical copies, because as we know, all their stuff is free digitally. So if you want to back their projects and help fund them, you can get physical copies along with that.
Yeah, and you get batches 1 and 2 in certain levels too. There's a bunch of cool stuff. Patrick has a new issue of Condry coming out. Charlie has a new vampire series coming out in this one, and then Mark wrote a bunch of stuff throughout various things as well.
Yeah.
So check that out. And then while you're, on your way buying comics, swing by our good friends at Coffee and a Comic. They have a special Apollo discount, Apollo City Podcast. And there's a link in the bio for both Coffee and a Comic and Lesser Known Comics. And you know what? Keep an eye out, because now Frank hopefully he's going to do this before I announce it. He's planning on making videos for final cutoff dates. So you won't miss out on the cover you want. You won't miss out on the issue you want. So keep an eye out on his YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe to that, and you'll get a bunch of comic book updates and some sweet deals. So you also get 10% off with our discount code. And guys, comic book video games. So this kind of came to mind to me because a year ago is when the Avengers came out. And we all know,
really?
Yeah, it's been a year now. And
most exciting
got
thing ever.
Did you guys get it? Did you guys even play it?
No.
I recently got it on sale and I say that because I'm a sucker for a moderately okay superhero video game, but apparently if you just run through the story, it's actually not that bad.
It also has
Did
Kate
you get it on
Bishop.
PlayStation? Did you get it on PlayStation?
No, I didn't get it on PlayStation.
He didn't want the Spider-Man DLC. He said
He's not even out yet. Who cares?
he
right
never
now?
wanted.
Well,
he
I
hates
wanted-
Spider-Man.
I'm gonna say we'll play it then, but never mind. I have it on PlayStation.
Sorry,
But I played it the first few weeks it came out, and I only played it for like about a week. I also got like Ghost of Tsushima around the same time, I want to say. I remember, or Tony Hawk. I got Tony Hawk.
That's right.
You got the
Remastered.
ghost
Yeah.
of Tony Hawk? Oh my god, how is that?
Yo, that sounds like a dope skateboard.
Yo, I
Yeah,
hope there's a lot of night levels.
Bunch of like, imagine you could ride a skateboard on Ghost of Tsushima instead of
It's a glow in the dark skateboard. Also, it's got the little birdhouse on the back.
But you you played Avengers before it got the patches, right? Like you basically got it on release.
Yeah, I did, and it was just like a button smasher. It wasn't a whole lot, and it didn't feel like you were going anywhere. It took you forever to level up. I hate microtransactions. Like, fuck off with that.
That was the problem that ruined the game. Is that it was supposed to be a what's it called, Kamran? Games like Borderlands.
Games like Borderlands.
Games.
Oh, you mean like a co-op? It's a co-op service game.
Yeah, it's a co-op service game. So it's supposed to be about the end game. Like you grind until like you're a top tier level character, and then you kind of go on missions. But I always thought that was kind of awkward for like an Avengers game made by the people that made Tomb Raider.
And as service game, it implies that it's going to be constantly worked on. Yeah, there's going to be more updates, whether it's fixes, characters, levels, all that kind of stuff. So it's like a always evolving game. Things could change and all that kind of stuff, which I was like, the reason I didn't get it is because it's already in a very like service game filled market with things like Destiny,
Bloated
The Division,
market.
and many more. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I don't really play co-op or online games at all. Like, I really just do solo player stuff. Like,
Same here. I'm a
just...
very single player person.
Yeah, like, and I got it, and at first I really enjoyed it, and I could tell like the people who made Tomb Raider made it because you're playing as like Miss Marvel, and you're just like kind of just like jumping around stuff for like a whole 3 hours, but I don't know, I wasn't sold by it, and now it's having all these updates, and they had like 1 million updates recently, and they're trying to fix it, and I was like, dang, that's where we're at, and that's why I didn't really have. Isn't the same people who made it the same people who's making Guardians? Does that come?
No.
No.
The team that made Avengers is Crystal Dynamics. They've made the current Lara Croft Tomb Raider trilogy.
Not the last one.
Okay.
No, they made Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
They did? I thought it was like a subsidiary studio.
No, they did that, and they were, I believe, working on a 4th Tomb Raider game, and also they are assisting in the now creation of Perfect Dark with the initiative for Xbox as well.
Yeah.
But Guardians of the Galaxy is being developed by Eidos Montreal, which is also published by Square Enix, so they're both the same publisher.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay,
Eidos
that's what it is.
That's Hitman, right? No.
Eidos Montreal?
No, it's not. No, I'm mixing up studios. That's not it. I know that name for something.
I have no idea. I'm not like a big enough gamer to know any of these studios.
Give me 2 seconds and I will have an answer for you.
I
Deus
loaded
Ex.
it up. Oh, Deus Ex. Yeah, Deus Ex.
I beat you.
And no, they did do Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
They did?
Yeah, I beat you. That's I proved you wrong that time.
Huh.
Conrad's like, no, I will not be.
Son of a gun. Maybe that's
like typing.
Okay, shit.
I knew it. See,
But I mean, okay, so I don't know. Guardians to me looks just the way Avengers looked. Like a year ago. I don't know if I'm even sold on this game that's coming out.
Well, the thing is, like, the thing with Avengers, I think once like the Arkham series came out, because like I think as a whole we can all agree that like the Arkham games are like peak superhero video game gameplay.
Yeah, for sure.
Gameplay specifically. I mean, for a superhero game, I mean, Spider-Man PS4 comes really close in terms of the story.
And it's more emotional. It has more emotional gravitas with it.
But on a gameplay, strictly on gameplay kind of thing, like Arkham is unbeatable.
Stuff.
Like between all 4 games, I personally think nothing comes close. And I think Marvel is really wanting to like hit that high point with one of their properties in video games, and I think that expectation's been kind of set there, and especially Avengers just did not meet it at all.
But Spider-Man did.
Yeah, Spider-Man did.
Wasn't Spider-Man also like a Sony thing as well?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation exclusive because of Sony's weird contract with Spider-Man.
Well, they also they published it as well, so they funded Spider-Man.
I mean, look at the one good game, and that's by a Sony publisher. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically I just got like 4 thoughts in my head. Marvel and Disney focus so much on mobile games, and they've released a lot of mobile games. I feel like all their console games just almost have that same feel as a mobile game, and they just fall short because of that.
So Marvel has been trying to, I don't want to say experiment, but they're not sticking to a like singular genre. You've had Telltale do a narrative with the Guardians of the Galaxy game, as well as I think 2 seasons of Batman,
which is actually which is funny because both of those are really good in my opinion.
I have yet to play.
I heard they were really good.
I have a lot of Telltale games to catch up on, but they have that. There's the Nintendo Switch exclusive. Brandon, I actually can't remember the title, but it's
Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yes, so there's that, which is completely different than the others as well.
Which wasn't as great as the first two, I will say.
Then we have Spider-Man from Sony. Along with the Miles Morales game, you have Avengers from Square Enix, and then you also have that Iron Man PlayStation VR game as well. So there's all these different areas, and I believe Iron Man was good. It wasn't like a spectacle like Half-Life Alyx where it was like, oh, this is the seller to get you to do it. I mean, maybe it did push some people over.
No, it's dope.
Oh, it is?
It is so much fun. I played it. It's so much fun. And honestly, like, I don't do a lot of VR stuff. But dang, dude, it's just so cool. That's it though. It's fun. Yeah. Because you're like flying and you have like the boosters.
You do it for like 5 minutes and you're like, all right, why did I spend $450 on this?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. Like, it's good for like a short burst of time. I mean, it's kind of like an upgrade. Did you guys remember? There's also Spider-Man VR games. Have you guys ever done those?
I never touched that. The only superhero VR was the Arkham one I played.
Oh, dang. Okay, there's a Spider-Man one that's free,
that one,
and they're both pretty fun. They're like super fun, to be honest. And you're like web swinging, and it really feels like you're web swinging. But yeah, I mean, just the Iron Man one for what I've played, super cool.
Okay. So there's various others coming out now. I mean, like Avengers is still being worked on. Guardians of the Galaxy is the next thing coming out this year in October. Like I said, Eidos Montreal is developing it. You also have from Marvel, like they're still, they saw also what succeeded. So we're getting Spider-Man 2, of course. That's coming in 2023 from Insomniac, who's now purchased by PlayStation. So it's a full-on first-party in-house game. And, nice. I think they liked him enough because the whole story with the Spider-Man actually it wasn't because Sony had the rights to it. Marvel asked Insomniac back when they were independent and said, if you could choose one superhero, like what superhero do you want to do a game with? And they were like, Spider-Man. And I have reason to believe that they went again and said, hey, this is going really well. Would you guys want to do another hero? Who would you want to do? And they then said Wolverine, which is what we're going to get next after Spider-Man 2. Like Spider-Man 2 is coming out in 2023. Wolverine, just by that release date, you'd expect Wolverine then to probably, at the earliest, 2024 or 2025, so it's going to be a ways away, but we know it's coming. And then you also have another completely different genre in which it's more strategy with the recently announced Marvel's Midnight Suns from Firaxis, the guys that do XCOM. They're doing a game that's going to be based on a 90s comic called Midnight Suns, and that one comes out in March of next year. Mm-hmm. So that one's also coming, and that one's like, they got a very good strategy developer for that game. And it's got characters such as like Blade, Magic, Ghost Rider, along with, for some reason, probably just because of their names, Captain America and Iron Man and Captain Marvel, who don't really belong there, but they're there. So,
that one I was kind of like hyped for, and then I got like really upset about it because I was like, I don't want to play a stupid card game because it seemed like a card game for the one clip I saw. But then I rewatched some stuff, and now I'm like, damn, actually it seems pretty cool. It's kind of like, I don't know, to me it gives that KOTOR kind of feel with that strategy.
So,
are you talking about
Midnight Suns. So
Midnight Suns.
The card isn't the gameplay. It's more like the features, the add-ons you're giving for these characters, which the gameplay itself will be more strategic, and you're actually moving them around like you would in XCOM, most likely. I don't expect it to be exactly the same, but it'll be similar in that style.
I don't know if I'd get that on release, but I would definitely...
Yeah, it's one of those things I'll wait for.
Yeah, I want to see some reviews on it and see some more gameplay before I decide. Spider-Man, I feel like I bought a PS4 for the Spider-Man PS4, and I got the game with it. So if they do that again, I'll definitely do that. But I'll see what happens, how soon I get that one. Wolverine, I'm pretty hyped for, because if it's the same people doing Spider-Man, the story itself, I'm sure, is going to be brilliant, and the gameplay has to be phenomenal. My only complaint about... Okay, so we already talked about Avengers and Guardians. Do you guys have any other thoughts about that before we go into Insomniac?
Well, I was gonna say with Guardians, I watched a couple of like early like test gameplay videos.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the game plays really well.
I've heard. Yeah.
You know, I try to be as like middle ground as possible when it comes to like YouTube and watching like certain YouTubers and GameSpot or IGN or whatever, and just try to like get a feel for everything before just trusting just one outlet.
Mm-hmm.
But the general like, the one thing I saw was that the game kind of has like a Mass Effect choose your own dialogue feel to it. And the gameplay, it does. You kind of, as Star-Lord, you only play as Star-Lord. It's a single player game. You do like choice and dialogue for, and characters react depending on the choices you make. And then on top of that, gameplay felt like the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's very action RPG based, which when I was watching videos, it actually looks kind of cool. Like, what's called Star-Lord has like his elemental guns, so you can shoot ice or whatever, and you kind of have like weird party abilities where you combine with characters like certain attacks and stuff like that. So it has like depth to it because enemies of course have like weaknesses and kind of like strengths you work around, and you have to utilize your party. And it's apparently really frantic and like action based with like passives and other stuff going on like RPG mechanic wise. So again, apparently it's looking to be way better than Avengers.
Well, I'll check it out. I'm sure if I could find it, around Black Friday for something on a cool little deal, I'll get it. But I guess I'm kind of curious on the story as well because it's following that cult of something. I've read it like in 3 Guardians comics. But it's the one that has like I don't know I don't know how accurate it is because I don't know how much Guardians you guys have read. I haven't read a lot. But it's like I think it's like Peter's dad is like part of this cult.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The galaxy around.
There's a comic where he reveals himself as like the villain the whole time in like a robe or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I'm your
exactly
father, Peter.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, he's still the king of Spartex. What the hell is
Spandex?
Called?
Something like that. Yeah, honestly.
Thinking of spandex, yeah.
But I hope they go super cosmic and have cool characters in it.
Well, there's also ship battles.
Oh wow, that's cool.
In space.
That might sell me in itself, actually.
I think
that's pretty sweet.
For me, it's like they're definitely different games. Considering like one's a service game, one is much more. It's not.
And I didn't know that.
I
had no idea about that. That totally makes sense to me now, and how I can view and look at that game. I'm way less of a gamer than either one of you. That's why I had to have you guys both present to make up for my like total loss of knowledge on this, but. I really thought Avengers would have been just like a fun game just to toss on and do a few levels and whatnot. And it feels like I picked it up recently and I just felt lost the whole time. I was like, what was even going on in this? And it just felt very disconnected. And then even upgrading and stuff like that is just so, maybe I'm getting old, but it was just like, like super confusing.
It's also that we're getting busier too. Like you only have certain time for a certain amount of things, and that's actually kind of my reasoning. It's like that and everything else where I'm like, would I want this Guardians game? And it's like, it looks fine. It doesn't do anything that's amazing me, and there's a lot of other properties that I'm either still trying to get to or are coming out soon, and I'm like, do I really want to add this on to there? And I'm like,
yeah,
I think I can skip this one without really thinking too much about it. Just like Avengers, I already play Destiny, I have Division, I have like Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, and stuff like that. These are all kind of service style games that are very co-op heavy, and I'm just don't need something like that either, especially if it's one that isn't up to the par of the others, and it's like it's still underperforming compared to them, even though it has like a solid base now, I guess, of people. And I'm not big on the Avengers themselves either. Like, these are also characters I don't really care about besides, like, minimally at the movies. And, like, if it's like X-Men, maybe that's, like, a different story. But with Avengers 2, they're still coming out with more. Like, the next big thing is Spider-Man, which is supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive. And they did say it's supposed to still be this year. And it's coming with, like, new maps, new story, and everything else. So it's, like, a whole...
cinematics and all that,
yeah, so it's kind of like a mini expansion, I guess.
Yeah. And it's all free too, right? Like all those, or is this like a season pass?
I think I think it is free, or it was free or a pre-order bonus, one of the two.
I missed the day with like when there was console exclusives. They did it for each console.
Like, what do you mean?
Like one would
like
do
Soul Calibur 2.
In Soul Calibur 2, they make you buy the game twice because one has Link and one has what's his
Hayachi.
face? Yeah, Hayachi, and one is Spawn.
And on Xbox it had Spawn, on PlayStation it had Hayachi, and then GameCube it had Link. That was amazing.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you just need the Xbox one. What the fuck? What do you...
I went and played at my friend's house on the GameCube, and I was like, cool, I played as Link, and I walked, and I was like, oh, cool, I got my fix. I'll wait till the next two Soul Calibur games where Ezio comes out.
That game's amazing.
I didn't play again until they had Ezio. I was like, oh boy, an assassin.
Yeah, I know.
That was like the first time Spawn was like in a fighting game.
But like, that's the thing. Like with this whole Spider-Man thing. Like, yeah, it makes me want to buy it on PlayStation, but like, I don't want to play it on PlayStation personally. I only use it for exclusives.
Brandon also hates PlayStation and Spider-Man together.
No, Cameron just hates Xbox.
I worked there, you idiot.
Yeah, for the record, he hated it the entire time.
All of it.
He's lying, I swear.
Yeah, that's why he recommended PlayStation Now to people. So
I never did that. What are you talking about? Can you get? Where's your proof, you son of a gun?
It's like I have a recording right here. No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, in order to shake the market up, I feel like you should have incentive. If you're gonna do exclusives, you should do it across the board. That's at least how I see it.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that'd be super cool, to be honest. Like,
yes, it sucks, but if you're gonna do it, at least make it to where everybody kind of wins. Like, look at Soul Calibur 4. They had Yoda on Xbox and Darth Vader on PlayStation, and eventually they were both sold as DLC for each version.
Fucking assholes, yeah.
I know it sucks, but they did that at the very least. Like, it's like shit. Like, what if I don't want to play on PlayStation, but I want to play as Spider-Man? I don't know.
I mean, that's the whole reason. The publisher will be paid to do these things. It's all about commercialism and capital. Like, it's all capitalism.
I get it. It's just it doesn't help the consumer.
You could really capitalize. And do the super exclusive stuff.
I mean, I don't know. Put Hulk on Xbox because it's green or some shit. It's just like.
But I mean, I see what you mean. And that's something I wanted to bounce back to is at a certain point was like older superhero games, but we'll see if we get to that. But that's cool. I mean, I'm glad I have like more clarity behind the two. I guess I would try out Guardians, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do what I do with Avengers. I'm gonna wait like a year. If it's $20, I'm not gonna even worry about $20. You know, like
I could do that.
Yeah, I could handle downloading that for that price.
I do want to give Avengers another shot because it just seems interesting. I want to check out the Black Panther stuff, but I just don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. So that's when like Cameron said, I have to have time. And I don't know if I'm going to have that kind of time to dive into that game. So we'll see. But, moving over to Insomniac with Spider-Man and Wolverine, as hyped as we all are for it, because those are amazing characters, and the studio's already done us well with Miles and Spider-Man. So, exciting stuff, and now we're getting Venom. So we're kind of getting everything we wanted
and Kraven
from video games and Kraven. So yeah. I'm so hyped for this.
And that's just probably the two main villains. Like, that doesn't mean it's going to be like not like you could have still characters from the previous comeback. You could have more like more than that. There's a lot you can do.
Some mole man,
Let me just say, Cameron's going to become a Wolverine fan now that it's a PlayStation exclusive.
I would have much rather had a Cyclops game, but I guess I'll deal with this.
I guess. And then he goes out and buys every comic. And
what are you talking about, Bub?
My only complaint about these games, and I love them, I have fun, and I know they're trying to copy Arkham and the success that Arkham had, but like I get really sick of doing stealth stuff in every video game.
Really? I love stealth stuff.
But it's in everything.
It makes sense for Batman and Spider-Man.
Well, Batman, yeah, but Spider-Man was almost purely stealth when it's just like, I don't know, it's just too much at a certain point.
You don't have to, though. It's all optional.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I guess you could...
I think you're choosing to be stealthy and you're like, god damn.
I mean, you even get like certain like achievements for being stealthy at certain points, and then like knocking people out without being noticed and whatnot. So you're kind of forced to go that route no matter what, to a certain extent.
If you care about that stuff.
Well, yeah, I do.
Okay, fair enough. But the one thing I was gonna say,
give me a different objective, like
with Spider-Man 2, and I feel like Insomniac kind of set themselves up a weird way. Now I know Peter Parker as Spider-Man is like the Spider-Man, right? So there's always going to be like kind of like a main stage for that character.
Mm.
I feel like with how popular Miles Morales has become, I feel like having him be his own game was great. Like, I think it's awesome that Spider-Man Miles Morales exists. But I feel like they kind of shorthand the character by making it like a 1.5 and not just a full-on game. And I feel like they're kind of doing that to the character again with Spider-Man 2, where Peter's obviously the main character, but they just kind of, and Miles is going to be part of the game, but they kind of make him not necessarily the main character, but just like a supporting character almost. And
well, what I could say towards that is how I kind of felt in the comics that are going on right now too, because it all seems to kind of be related. I feel like they're going to phase out Peter probably in this game. And Miles will be full on probably the Spider-Man you are for probably most of Spider-Man 2, I want to say. And I mean, unless they make it where you could switch back and forth, which would be interesting.
That would be really cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Kind of like have you played GTA 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how you like switch between the 3 characters?
Yeah, or I was going to say like in Halo 3 where you got to be Master Chief for a level and then be the
Arbiter.
That was Halo 2.
Arbiter for a level. Halo 2. Oh, was it? Oh, fuck. Something like that. Like, yeah, GTA 5, how it's like seamless and you're just like going back and forth between these huge, epically long storylines. But, if they, could totally kind of start phasing out Peter soon, because it's kind of weird how, Miles is taking over in the video game. In the comic, starting next month, Ben Reilly's coming back because Peter's gonna die, and it's
really
Peter's gone. Yeah, I'm hyped for that.
Again?
I love Ben Reilly. I don't give a fuck.
Again? Yeah, I'm like, really again.
I don't know how. I haven't kept up.
Get
with
married in hell,
so I'm not too sure how
motherfucker.
it's gonna come out, but you also see like that phasing out in the comics, and then with the movie coming out, the Multiverse of Madness, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we start seeing the phase out of this Peter Parker because of contracts or whatever happens on. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen or it's speculation or anything, but them getting rid of Peter after all these years and kind of doing the replacement to test what does better, that'd be interesting. I mean, just canceling him out for a bit. Kind of like what they're trying to do with Bruce Wayne right now in general too.
So the way I see it is you could have either, it's Miles Morales as the support character, or it is like, we're switching off between them, or it's going to be kind of like a time thing, a little bit, I would say like The Last of Us Part 2, where you're going to play a good amount of time as Peter, and then something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Where that middle portion is going to be Miles, and then you come back at the end as Peter. And
I can see that working.
Yeah, and with this too, at the same time, like, yes, I at least recently in comics and everything else, after like looking at all the Ultimate stuff, Miles has become much more relatable and just enjoying, like, he's just a lot more enjoyable as a character, but that's also because of all the reset stuff they keep doing with Peter, so it makes things just more annoying. With this game, though, I think still Peter is the mainstay, and he should remain that way with Miles, whether he's in a secondary role or he's getting these in between games, which so far has worked really well. And you could kind of tell the way this is going, it's probably going to be a trilogy where I keep telling people already, like, Green Goblin or Red Goblin and Carnage is probably going to be in the third game.
Yeah.
And
or like or like an epic return of Doc Ock.
Yeah, but it's like you could tell Norman Osborn there's probably going to be something with him. Like, you're saving the big character for the end. They don't want to kind of do what happened in Arkham where you had like Joker and then Joker dies and then now it's the ghost of Joker. And instead it's like more of a build-up where you're gradually getting this and it's more satisfying as you go through. And you're seeing the characters grow with that as that comes, and it could be the end where it's like you don't expect to see, oh my god, the third game is Miles Morales, like you're facing Peter out when he's only had one game, and then the third game is just Miles, and it's like, why is Miles fighting the Green Goblin? This is kind of weird. It's like that kind of thing where there's no personal stakes within it. You don't have that antagonistic rivalry between them that you've had like throughout history. And like I said, I love Miles, and his fucking powers are awesome in the game too. Like, I loved Miles Morales, I think, more than the Spider-Man game, just because it was a lot less fetch quests, which they are learning from. They even said, like, hey, we learned what you guys didn't like in the first game. We'll make sure to perfect it in the second game. And we already saw, like, some fruits of that with Miles Morales.
And Miles Morales had Spider-Man Cat. So,
yeah, it's Spider-Cat as well. Yes, he did have Spider-Cat.
Well, his name was Spider-Man.
Yeah. So you can kind of see the potential lanes they can go through for that. But overall, I do think Peter will be the mainstay, and they will do whatever they will with him by the end of it. We just don't know exactly what that would be. I just still don't think it would be in this game. It would probably be in 3. Unless they really surprise. If they brought in Green Goblin into this game, then I would be like, okay, that's different. I think something's going to end here then, if it's going to be like that.
Yeah. I can see that. All I'm saying is that I feel like story-wise, it makes sense why you have to ease into like a Miles Morales game. But I feel like even then you can make it work because they did with a movie. But I think, speaking of Spider-Verse, of course, I think at this point in the character's life, the character is big enough to have their own game. That's all. I was just saying, like, a 1.5 didn't seem like enough.
Yeah.
It seemed like he needed his own sequel.
I
think we might get that with like a 2.5 that'll be the size of like a sequel. Or
I don't know. Like, that's another big thing is that Miles is big right now too, but this character was created in 2011. He's only 10 years old. Like, Venom is here, 30 years old, and he's barely getting like any sort of, change in his character, like, actual good reputation, cool stuff made about him. So even like if we're easing into Miles, I think it's still kind of okay for his age as a character. A lot of these people don't take off, and I feel like Miles is one of the few like to just like skyrocket in terms of like popularity. And
I think that's also because his name is also Spider-Man. That helps a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Compared to Venom,
just like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, Miles represents the best part about Spider-Man is that kind of like Stan Lee said, like, it doesn't matter who you are under the mask. You could be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, could you say the same thing for isn't Batman switching over, and then who's the new I Am Batman?
I Am Batman is Jace Fox, and then Bruce Wayne is still Batman in the other 19 books.
Well,
so I mean, like, could you
books.
say the same thing could possibly happen to that character because his name is Batman?
I don't know. I'm just quoting Stan Lee or paraphrasing Stan Lee.
Well, I know, but like, I'm just saying, do you think it would be just as relevant in that sense? Like, if we got a Batman game with this character in 10 years?
I don't know. I mean,
I think people would be angry because we still haven't gotten our Batman Beyond game.
Probably.
I still want my Batman.
But I'm just saying, like, the whole thing with Stan Lee is that anyone under the mask can be Spider-Man, and that's kind of what happened with Miles Morales. He wasn't Peter Parker, but he's still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So,
or if you're Ben Reilly, you are Peter Parker and you're Spider-Man.
And you're Spider-Man.
Or you're Kane and you're Peter Parker and you're Spider-Man.
But you guys get what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I think the level where he's at is like good for his age.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'd get much
I agree.
more.
I mean, that's how good of a character he is. That's probably easily Bendis' best character he's created.
Yeah, hands down. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we got a live action Miles in the next 5 years. I wouldn't be shocked at that at all.
I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. But I was just wondering if you thought that the same thing would happen with the Batman character, because I personally don't think that this new Batman is going to succeed nearly as well as like Spider-Man did.
No,
in this
I think
instance,
like
where you change
if you're
race and you change characters and someone else under the mask, I don't feel like the equation's going to balance.
Well, it already it's popular, but it hasn't even taken off like Miles did either.
Well, I think like when it comes to those two characters, if you're going to compare them, I think like anyone can continue the like mythos of Batman. And like with Spider-Man, there's this whole thing where like anyone can be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think, and I guess it was a different argument, but I think, I agree with that, because Spider-Man, I feel like you could get, the Stan Lee quote, it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Batman is very open and in that pain. It just doesn't come off right. You know what I mean? Terry, I feel like the only one, but Terry is
his son
himself.
Yeah, Terry's different.
Actually,
whereas, you had Harvey Dent and Dick Grayson and Jim Gordon also were Batman for about 2 years each, almost, or like 1 year for some. So, like, they didn't last either. And who knows, Jace could be 2 years too.
But like,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is, yeah, like if you're gonna like have another person succeed Batman, it's more of they continue the mythos, not necessarily become. I mean, they can be Batman, of course, but they kind of uphold his like whole life goal. While Spider-Man, you put the mask on and you do the right thing, and that's being Spider-Man.
Yeah,
making the tough call.
You do the web thing, you eat the hot dog, and Darnell Rollins is like, Spider-Man stole that guy's pizza, and you're like, I am Spider-Man.
Well, either way, I think the game's gonna be awesome. It's one of those games like I know I don't have to worry about it, so I'm like hyped for it. But I'm not like when I play it, I'm not gonna go, oh wow, this is amazing. It's gonna be more like, yeah, I knew this was gonna be good.
Yeah, you're just gonna be smiling the whole time, and that's the way I was with this last one. I was just like, I am 100% satisfied. There was minimal things they could have done better in that game, and like that's it.
Yeah, just always remember Stan Lee's quote: "Anyone can cook." Yeah.
Well, that's the Marvel side of things.
What about Wolverine?
So
Wolverine, I just hope it's M-rated because I want to be Wolverine and just like completely
fuck shit up.
Yeah,
I want to be brutal. You know what I mean?
He's got claws. You got to be able to like rip through people and like I don't know, just like
If you're gonna give me blades that come out of my hands, I better see some blood. I
bet he's looking up at enemies like he's just like I'm short.
I swear, I fucking swear, I hope to anything on this planet that they put Marvel vs. Capcom references in there and he goes Berserker Barrage.
Oh my god, it's like, why'd you say that? I don't know, it came to mind. That's one of those like,
oh my gosh.
We'll probably like, I'm expecting Sabretooth, I'm expecting, what is his name? Omega Red? Is that the dude's name?
Oh yeah, I would see that.
Silver Samurai, a bunch of others. Like, or if they make it longer, they could have a bunch of characters.
I could see a cool cliffhanger ending with like Magneto and like leading into that one story where he like rips a skeleton out or something. I don't know.
That'd be
and
dope.
You're also expecting a different game. This isn't going to be like an open world New York game. I'm expecting something more action adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
and maybe
like
some
focused.
X-23.
Kind of Ghost of Tsushima vibes. I wouldn't be surprised if we do some Japan
stuff. You
stuff
see him coming in on his glow-in-the-dark skateboard, just be like, I'm Wolverine, let me shred you up.
I think with Wolverine, I kind of think of a tone kind of like Max Payne. I don't know why that comes to mind.
I could see that.
But, Max
There's
Payne
so much they could do. It depends on the setting. You know what I mean? Like, if they do Japan stuff, forest
they'll probably have a
tequila
time.
Well, the way I see it is I can see the game kind of having like a prologue in Canada, or like it starts in Canada and then you get more prologue of like him in World War II and then it kind of ends up in New York or something.
Yeah. There's so many or timeline stuff. You know what I mean? If they do explore, that's the cool thing. Wolverine has that weird, crazy history that he's just all around the world, and you just throw a dartboard and be like, all right, this is gonna be cool. Like,
go kill people
what
here.
Era is in? Yeah.
But
I'm sure we'll fight ninjas from the hand or whatever.
Do you think it'll be like that X-Men Origins game that people loved more than the movie?
I think everyone liked everything more than the movie.
Possibly.
I think so. It could be similar.
You look at the
You
look at the Insomniac Spider-Man from, when we were kids based off of the TV show, and then you look at these Spider-Man games and you're just like, okay, I see the similarity. It's just a super upgraded version of this. And they might do something similar with Wolverine in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
it's
I said,
hard to say. It's too early in development.
Yeah, but I'm expecting, at least my prediction is just like not necessarily fully linear, but like you're looking at action adventure style, just like run through the level type thing, which would honestly work in its favor because you don't also want to over saturate the sandbox world again, because that seems to happen a lot. And just Spider-Man for now is good. You don't need to do that with all of them, and it just becomes skins of open world games after that.
Exactly. They just need to nail like Easter eggs and little nods to things. Like he better have a moment where he's like, "Fuck off," just like in Days of Future Past.
Well, I want besides just having the regular Wolverine version, I want to have that Pride of the X-Men version of Wolverine where he's talking Australian. Like that pilot of that cartoon, he's like, they say he's just a kid.
God.
I'm Wolverine. No. I want that so badly. That would be a great Easter egg where you beat the game and it's like, all right, now play in fucking Pride of the X-Men mode.
Game Plus is going to be Australian accent mode.
You get a Hugh Jackman skin. He's like taller than most NPCs.
Hey, hi, I'm Wolverine.
That'd be cool. I mean, I'd be down for stuff like that because they could do awesome skins. Like if they did that, that again, you're gonna have to copy Batman, but the Arkham skin type of thing where you get to choose from different comics and movies and stuff like that. Totally down for. You're gonna get a tank top Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Speaking of which, for Spider-Man, for any future Spider-Man game, I hope all the skins transfer over.
Oh, that'd be cool. I feel like they bring in a lot of them
out there. I want to put that out there.
But I was going to say, like, the cool thing about Insomniac is they have a lot of fun with unlockables or, like, post-game stuff where they're like, oh, you can do this and this now. Like, they even allowed, like, the Sunset Overdrive cans to be instead of the bolts, you got those instead in Ratchet and Clank. So you had, like, those little Sunset cans where I think Wolverine, they could go so far if they really wanted to as, like, here's an unlock where every time you pop your claws out, the fucking Fox X-Men theme plays where it's like da 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 da, like each time. Like you could do that if you really wanted to. I'm sure they could if they got the rights for it. But there's so much promise for this game that there's so much like you could potentially do with it, and that's what makes it exciting. But I think there's just one more Marvel game. We didn't really talk about Midnight Suns. If we wanted to talk about that real fast,
it's a strategy game. I think if it's strategy games, they're kind of like this thing where they all play the same. You just slap a certain coat of paint on it and then add some tweaks that are associated with that paint, and then you got your strategy game.
I think they can play differently depending on how you look at it, because that's just saying the same thing for any genre. You could say, yeah, a shooter is a shooter. You just put a gun in their hand and they're shooting, or same thing with a fucking...
Like superhero games specifically. Like, you play XCOM, or like Final Fantasy Tactics. You get the idea of what a tactics game is like. And then those same mechanics kind of transfer over, and then you just implement certain unique mechanics to that property. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like any genre.
That's like any video game.
Yeah.
Well, any IP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's anyway. I'm excited.
I think if they do the story well enough, I think it could be really good, and that's what's gonna have to sell me is the story, because the character sold me. The gameplay itself hasn't sold me yet. But if the story also sells me, then I'll be like, all right, I will definitely give it a shot, because I'm already 2 out of the 3. I'm pretty hyped. I'm not big on strategy games like that. I kind of, it's just not my thing. But I definitely give it a chance if it's like, I don't know, I guess flexible enough and not like Avengers where I have to really put in a lot of time just to understand it.
I'm excited because, gameplay is going to be really fun for me just because I do like XCOM games, strategy games like that. And the character selection, most of it's good, like I said, because it's supposed to be magic based, and you're just kind of like, some of them are like, why are you here? But I am curious how good they're going to be with the story. But I think at the same time it'll be really interesting just because they chose that themselves. Like the creative director was like, hey, this is a comic I read, and I was like, oh my god, I can make a game out of this. And I already know my team. I'm like, oh, if you got 3 people, Blade, Magic, and Ghost Rider, I'm done. Like I already got my team ready to go.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't Doctor Strange in it too?
Yeah.
What are the characters? Because I don't know.
You have Wolverine, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, one of the Runaway characters that I don't know. I don't pay attention to the Runaways. And I think that's most of them. I don't know if there was any others, but yeah, those the 3 more supernatural ones were the ones I wanted to jump in as. I think it would be cool if they had switched like the mainstay Avengers as some other magic-y characters. Like you probably could have done like David Hellstrom and Moon Knight and some others, but
that could be unlockables
later.
Yeah,
they could always add more, exactly. So, but yeah, the team I got.
They could play as Morbius.
Ooh,
okay,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty down for that too.
Doesn't affect my current lineup, but yeah. All right, like I said, I'm already decided on who I'm playing.
Can't. That's speculated who's going to be in it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But still, I mean, again, that could be added on. I wouldn't be surprised if Moon Knight was an addition.
Okay. I got the list right here.
Yeah, read it off. Let's see.
You got the Hunter. He said most of them. The Hunter, Wolverine, Magic, Doctor Strange.
You are the Hunter.
Man, Captain America, Blade, Ghost Rider. Yeah, Ghost Rider, Captain Marvel, and Nico Minoru.
That's the Runaway character. So that's the only one I couldn't name.
She's like the most OP Runaway character, actually. So
the Hunter is who you play as. You're supposed to be a character they unlock, like like you were in a sarcophagus or something, and you're awakened, and your role is you customize your character, and you're like, I'm the Hunter, and you're my team, and you can actually build relationships with the characters. Like there'll be a hangout spot for all the characters. And the more you take them on missions, the more you're like, I guess you get their story or whatever, but you like grow with them and stuff, which is really cool.
Do you get to play as those characters though?
So you can, like the whole thing with strategy games is they're usually overhead type games. So like you're moving them around, you're controlling all of them, including your own character. So I'm assuming how it's going to be. So you still utilize all of them. It's not like Guardians where you just play as Star-Lord and you send them to do stuff. You're controlling all of them, but it's not like action. It's like, all right, you move here, do this attack, blah, blah, because it's full strategy.
It's
okay. I mean, stuff like that I could kind of get into.
It's like imagine like a grid and it's turn-based. So you spend one move moving a character or doing some sort of action, and then whoever you're going against does, and then you go back.
It's like Knights of the Old Republic and whatnot. That was a same.
No, that's more action still.
Yeah.
Strategy.
Okay. I'm not kidding. A strategy game is like playing a game of chess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it goes as fast as you go, because it could be like, oh, well, I need to think about this, and because it's an NPC, it's like in the game it'll go fast, and it only takes as long as you take yourself.
Yeah. And you could even skip animations. Basically, it's like I said, imagine a checkerboard grid if you could see a checkerboard on there, and your characters move within it, and you take turns either moving or doing actions or whatever.
And I'm sure there'll be even because each character will have their own abilities and whatnot, and own classes and styles and stuff. I'm even assuming like there'll be harder difficulties where you'll have limited time to choose what you're doing as well to kind of up the ante. So there'll be all that kind of stuff.
If this game is more than $40, like.
It's going to be full price.
I'm willing to pay $60-$70 for it. Because that's... Really? Yeah, I mean, dude, they made this fucking game for how many years? Of course I'm going to give them money. I'm not trying to skimp out all the time.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'll just wait. I've only played 2 strategy games my whole life, so I'm not really too invested.
Yeah, I'll have to wait. I have to wait to check it out. But I'm definitely interested because I do, like I said, if the story's good, then that's 2 of the things I'm so sold on. And we'll see. And... most of this episode is basically the Marvel stuff because that's really what we know about. Also, Marvel has an immense amount of mobile games like Contest of Champions, who actually is getting Null this month, which I think I'm going to play it just to see if I get Null. And
I have nothing to say on the mobile area. I'll be skipping out on conversation.
I literally don't play games on my phone.
I don't know anything about their other games. That's it. Like Contest of Champions was something I would just do when I was bored because I tried the Injustice one for skins, and I don't know. They have like some realm of stuff. They have like 4 mobile games, and that's the same thing with their Star Wars stuff.
I think the only Marvel game I play on my phone is probably Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Marvel Future Revolution, Marvel Realm of Champions, Marvel Contest of Champions, Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Strike Force, Marvel... Yeah, that's it.
Each name you say makes my eyes close a little bit more, I'm going to be honest.
But each one gets so complex.
Yeah, just put DC in front of that, you'll be right away.
I still don't care.
Because DC has a handful of them. They have like the Injustice one and everything. So
I don't want to play that on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
I think they have less actually.
Yeah, they have way less. They've Warner Brothers has never really invested into that aspect of.
Well, so they have 2 different strategies though. So with Disney. When they bought everything, they would just close their own stuff up. They said, you're fired. And it was like, we're making this game. And it's like, yeah, but we don't want you to make anything for us. We don't want to pay for that shit. So instead, we're going to license stuff out. And that's what they've been doing for Star Wars and Marvel. They're licensing these out, but they're also having oversight of going, hey, does this stand in line up with our standards? Does this work with our whatever canon we want to do or whatever with these characters, like the guidelines form? But they're doing it so then they have nothing in-house and everything is just whoever wants to make it or who's a good fit for it, and they're going to do a good job. And we've seen that for everything. Like, you can't name one Marvel Star Wars game currently that's in-house at all from Disney or Marvel or Lucas or anything like that. Whereas
very true.
DC is owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is only doing their games in-house. Like, yeah, you had the 2 Telltale games for Batman. Mm-hmm. That's it. Otherwise, everything is being made by their studios. And, they're not going to put all of their different studios on that. Like, you have NetherRealm, you have WB Montreal, you have Rocksteady, you have, not technically CD Projekt Red, but they usually publish with them a lot. So they're usually publishing through them. I believe you have Monolith, though, that did, like, Fear and Middle-earth games and stuff like that. So, Monolith doesn't really do the DC stuff. NetherRealm has been alternating between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, so you are getting a DC fighting game from that, which has actually been very, highly acclaimed. And I actually play it. I don't even care about fighting games, really. I played the NetherRealm games purely for the story because I actually enjoy them that much. And I know I'm going to get my ass kicked online playing, so I don't bother. But
or by me.
I don't even play with you. What do you mean? I've never played with you.
It's because I'll whoop your ass.
Whatever, dude. Catch me outside, all right? How about that? But
all right.
Anyway, you have only 2 studios making DC games. You have WB Montreal that made Arkham Origins and now is making Gotham Knights. And then you have Rocksteady that made the main 3 Arkham games, and now they're making the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. So you're kind of limited to just those 2 unless you want to literally put every single developer on DC games, or they attempt to license things out, which I don't know if they are willing to do or not. They could easily do that, and who wouldn't want to jump at the chance to be like, oh, make a Justice League game, make a whatever game, make a strategy game. There's so much they could potentially do, but they just choose not to. Like, I can imagine an action-adventure Wonder Woman game, or like a cool fucking underwater Aquaman game. Like, there's so much they could do.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that with Wonder Woman, in the sense of, like, she just needs a sword and a shield, and you're just gonna go through, like, different...
It's like God of War with Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah, literally just copy it, and we'll all buy it. Like, nobody will be opposed to it, Dang, yeah, I didn't realize how it was broken up in that sense, too. I mean...
Well, the thing is,
Warner Brother has had better... Well, I didn't know. I don't know nothing about the studios and all that type of stuff.
Back when the Arkham games were being made, the only Marvel stuff you were getting was licensed stuff, and how well that did. Besides Spider-Man 2 and X-Men Origins Wolverine.
You don't like Captain America, published by Sega?
Anyway, you didn't...
Well, I don't know. The Batman Begins game is pretty dope. I remember playing that.
No, that game is trash. The one on PS1 or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. I remember playing
that game sucks.
Licensed games have a history, no matter what franchise it is, always have a history of not doing well. Like, usually they're aimed at kids because only kids are probably, they like the name, so they buy it for the name, and then they get the game and they go, fuck. But, like, otherwise, nothing was really hitting it until the Arkham games, and then everyone looked over and went, oh shit, okay, so you can do this. And, they took, it was kind of like at the same time as the Nolan trilogy, where nothing else was kind of going on, and they're just taking their sweet time just doing these specific things with just Batman. And then all of a sudden Marvel's like, well, we want this too. So they've been branching out and doing a lot more, but DC hasn't really changed, or Warner Brothers hasn't changed anything. They're just kind of like, well, it's going to sell a fuck ton anyway. Who cares? I don't know if they want to do more, but also, we've had the differences with Warner Brothers in the past, where with AT&T, they were considering selling off the entire WB Interactive developers. And that changed.
That's right.
But now they're owned by Discovery, and it's a completely different ballpark now because we don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. And for this, though, you have these 2 games coming. One was Gotham Knights was supposed to come this year. It was delayed to 2022, which you were assuming it's coming early 2022, probably. If it's February, they're just trying to fucking kill everybody in February. But March would make more sense, and then you're getting probably Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, I'm assuming in the fall, because you want those spaced apart. But
isn't that one coming out like a year after?
No, so
was it the same years?
It was supposed to be Gotham Knights was 2021, and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League was 2022. They delayed Gotham Knights, but never delayed Suicide Squad. So you're imagining kind of one end and the other end of the year for each one.
And it's hard to say if they'll even delay that one because it's a totally different studio and everything.
So, yeah, because there's different studios. They're not affecting each other at all. And then you have DC Fandom coming up in mid-October, and that's where you're going to see both games again. And you'll get solid release dates. We don't know exactly when. We just know 2022 right now. So for Gotham Knights, it's for sure coming that year, but we'll get the month and probably the day along with more about the game. Suicide Squad, they'll also let us know because they could do a re-announcement of it and delay it, but use the hype of just the announcement of the game itself showing gameplay maybe, and then they go 2023 and you go, well, oh, okay. But
or they could just do like fall or winter.
Most likely they'll probably say fall 2022 just to give themselves buffer zone as well, so they could be anywhere from September to November without having to state a time. Kind of like Microsoft did with Halo, where you're like, it's coming this year, and they're like kind of slowly backing up against the cliff going, December, fuck it, all right, we're doing the last month. So it's that style that you're kind of seeing. But they're also, they're using everything for fandom because they don't want to talk until then, because they want to maximize the amount of eyes watching that event as well.
Well, I don't know if I'm really not sold on either game yet, to be honest. Like Gotham Knights, I'll get it because it's a Gotham game and it seems like the most interesting, but I've never had any interest of playing as any of those. Like, I'm not a Jason Todd fan. Like, maybe Nightwing. I'm not really crazy to play as Robin or Batgirl either. So, I mean, I'll definitely play it because we wanted to like stream it and start streaming with that game and a bit more and whatnot. But even Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, I might be a bit more interested, but I feel like they're just, when they just want to like kill a dead horse, they just beat it to its pulp, and I've just been so fried out. It's just a lot of Suicide Squad for a team that I don't feel like is that extravagant, to be consistently going back to as your number one thing. 2 movies and then some animated films and now a video game and all this type of stuff. And we even get to play as half these characters in Injustice. So it's just like, cool. I mean, I guess, but I mean, you guys could have done, imagine, kind of like a Midnight Suns game, but like an actual game, not like a strategy game, but with Justice League Dark, and you get like Constantine and Zatanna and cool stuff like that. That'd be amazing to do properties like that. Much more, I feel, than Suicide Squad, because I'm just like, if you want to get people into the universe, expand the universe. Or even the Arrowverse characters would have been like a good choice to just even do a one-shot game, just to like see how that plays out. But just something, because I feel like there's no variety in what we're getting, because again, beat down by Batman, like always, like not exploring anyone else, not even, at least Marvel gives us Guardians, Avengers, Spider-Man. Now we're getting a Wolverine thing. Like, you have a Midnight Suns, you're getting a wide assortment of characters. But with DC, it's just like same thing over and over and over. Warner Brothers, like same characters, but you have a whole universe. Like, finally give us a Superman game, just work on that. Like, give us a Shazam game, give us something with the Flash or Green Lantern Corps, something.
So for those two, it's interesting because Gotham Knights was confusing. You're like, oh, so is it going to be like an Arkham sequel? And they're like, no, it's a separate thing. It's not even connected to any other game. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, but Batman's also dead. Oh, okay. I guess
just like how it ended in Arkham. Remember, guys?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, right? There. But you see what they're trying to go for with it, where they're like, they're moving away from. So this is what I think we may have talked about it during our crossover during fandom, but you see WB is moving towards co-op style gameplay, and they're a little bit different. So Gotham Knights, I believe, is 2-player co-op. You can only do 2. Whereas Suicide Squad, I think, is going to be full-on 4-player co-op. And
wow,
the way they're doing that, it's cool if you like co-op, but it's also, I don't want to say concerning, but you want to be cautious, because is that now what they're going to stick to? And that means the reason they did Gotham Knights is because they wanted something team-based, and you're not going to get your standalone solo single-player games you potentially wanted that would be the other, A-lister DC characters that we've been potentially waiting for this whole time. And, these 2 games will decide it all. And like I said, it's only 2 developers. Yeah, you'll get Injustice from NetherRealm again, most likely, but that's just the fighting game and an alternate multiverse kind of thing going on there. Whereas,
I feel like that's definitely going to happen. We were talking about it, I don't know if it was off air or on air, but I think we're on agreement. So that'll definitely happen, especially if this animated movie is successful. And the other 2 games have been highly successful. And they're both, dude, I've played them both like twice. I did both endings all the way through. Like, I would hit left one playthrough and then go right the next playthrough to get all the characters.
Yeah. I'm expecting probably 2022, 2023 if they do announce it, like at Fandom.
Yeah.
If they did.
Yeah, that's true. If they did announce it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we waited another year or so. Because I think, when did the last Mortal Kombat game come out?
2020, I want to say. Or was it 2019?
Really?
No, it was 2019.
It's 2019? Yeah, so they've had time. They usually have a good amount of time. So they that's why they're getting to that point where unless the only reason they would take longer than normal is if they were reworking one of the inner systems of the game, or like like the primary, like something with the engine or something. I'm not too sure.
Oh, like advancing. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they could also be acquiring the rights to get like other characters like Spawn.
Well, I think you also have to consider, you disgusting man, you have to consider it's now moving to platform. It's moving to the next generation. It's going to be PS5 Series X instead of PS4. I was about to say Xbox 360, Xbox One. And honestly, they could probably get Spawn. If they got Hellboy, they could probably get Spawn. And they got Ninja Turtles. Like, it's doable. True. We're also going to fucking get Spawn anyway. But you have that.
That's what we need. We need a Spawn video game again. Because it's been since, Spawn Armageddon? And that game was dope as fuck. And, we'll do gameplay playthroughs on that. That'll be our first thing. Well, Brandon and I will just hang out.
You're just volunteering me to play Spawn.
You poor, I'll pray for you. Thoughts and prayers, bitch.
And then we'll go back and play the PS1 games. Like, man, I'm so down.
I like how Cameron didn't let me talk about Gotham Knights before going to Injustice 3.
Oh, sorry. No, I was making...
You're hyped for Gotham Knights.
I was making a point.
Because of Batgirl, right?
Yeah. No, I was just waiting to see until he'd be done.
Sorry, I got off on a tangent. I had a whole thing, man.
That's every.
He has Cameron has like one of those what are they, like the scrolly things that like you see at movie theaters, and you're just trying to catch like the news article or the news where it has like the bottom scrolling news,
and you bring me back every time for some reason.
But yeah, like I remember you were hyped about Gotham Knights because like you're a big Batgirl fan. I think this is the second time we've ever gotten to play as Batgirl, actually.
Not like a full-on game though. I mean, Arkham Knight had that DLC. That's about it. And then Gotham Knights. It's not like any of them are the main character. They're kind of all the main character.
So do you they said that you have to bounce between character to character for Arkham?
No.
You could just choose.
You choose, and then if you don't play with a friend, you get an AI buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not even all four of them out there. So, like, for me, I'm probably just going to be playing as Nightwing and then doubling down with probably like Batgirl or whichever.
Have they said which Robin's going to be on it?
Yeah. It's Tim Drake as Robin. You have Jason Todd as Red Hood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll, like, throw in Duke somehow. That'd be mind-blowing. That is a character that needs to break out already.
I don't think we'd see Duke before Damian. That'd be kind of crazy though. At the same time, because Damian, Duke is cool, but Damian has the full personality. Like Damian's the one you'd want because he's got like he's a little shit, but you love it.
What if we got like Damian as a villain in that game?
Maybe
that'd be cool.
No, if it's the Talons, they would have like Nightwing become a villain or something.
Oh, true.
Yeah, you're gonna get if they actually have William Cobb in it, it's gonna be very interesting the way they do this game.
And I don't know, this one seems like the Avengers too, or is it gonna have a story? Like a solid.
It's gonna be full story. It's not. I wouldn't compare it to Avengers because whereas Avengers is a continuously evolving service game that relies on that style. Gotham Knights will be still much more grounded, much more contained. You're not looking at the same style there at all. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I was going to talk about was like actual gameplay. Basically,
I haven't seen much since what they announced a year ago.
Basically, the thing that has YouTube, I guess, viewers, because I see it in the comment section, concerned is that there's a leveling system. So the thing with that is like you kind of could potentially add padding to the game that's unnecessary. Like Arkham kind of had a leveling system, but it wasn't like there was a level cap necessarily or enemies that were like level 1 to 50 or whatever. But apparently in Gotham Knights that's the case. It almost has like a leveling system that you see in like, I don't know, Borderlands or something, where areas have certain range of enemies and then they could be under or over leveled compared to you. And the thing that people are worried about is like people are kind of gonna be like beat 'em up sponges. Like if something's too high a level, you gotta like constantly waste time trying to take it down or whatever. And that's kind of like the big concern that I've seen at least. But I feel like there's still time to address that, and maybe they are going to implement it, and it could work potentially for the game because it'd be something new for, I guess, that whole Batman. It's not an Arkham game, but that whole, video game realm of Batman games.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see. The other thing is Bruce is totally not dead.
Yeah, he has to come back somehow. How would you sell a Batman game without it?
It's clickbait, I imagine. Like, there's going to be a whole story where, like, oh, he's dead, and then, I don't know, he's like the bad guy the whole time.
Yeah, right? Like, or a version. I mean, that'd be interesting too. I don't know. It depends how many other storylines they intertwine with it. Because I know Scott Snyder did go in there and consult, and they have released the Talons. But,
Court of Owls?
To talk, with Court of Owls and everything.
So?
Why? Here's the reason. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, that's like, I think, brilliant that they're bringing the creator in to at least get some accuracy and actually have or expand on things he wasn't able to do in the comics.
I mean, it's not the first time. Like, Paul Dini was in Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight, or City, not Knight.
But neither of them are Grant Morrison.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. That's the one that we should be having for.
They're the greatest Batman writer.
But Arkham feels more like a adult, like, continuation of animated series kind of, whereas Gotham Knights definitely with Snyder makes sense because of the Court of Owls. What does Morrison have to do with this?
I wouldn't say it's a continuation. It's just the voice actors, really.
I know, but it satisfied a lot of the animated series.
You consult
people.
the greatest Batman writer. That's why, Comrade.
Okay, so
I don't know, because Morrison also wrote like the Predator game, Hunting Grounds, and I don't think he wanted to go back in that direction.
Did he actually?
After all that, yeah,
They wrote it?
that was on. Yeah, he wrote it for whatever PS2 or whatever, and Xbox.
Okay,
it's PS4.
Yeah, but also I want to point out, Paul Dini wrote or like took part in Art Asylum and City. But not
Jungle.
Night.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Predator Concrete Jungle.
Yeah, no,
that's like a PS2 game. Yeah,
that's
Arkham, and then you get Arkham Knight, and you go, that's why you had that's why you had Red Hood as Arkham Knight. There's a mask under the mask. Just like, God damn it.
It makes sense to bring in Scott Snyder. I'm just talking shit. I just don't think Scott Snyder is the best Batman writer in retrospect.
You petty bastard.
One of my tops for sure.
He's probably still my favorite.
He's not bad, but he's definitely not. I don't know.
We'll do an over and under, and we'll battle that one out. But I mean, I think that's cool that they're bouncing back to a comic book creator. That's what they should be doing more in the movies. You know what I mean? It's what they for all this stuff. They should just go back to comic book
Jeff Johns
writers.
was there for Green Lantern,
and David Goyer.
And Ryan, what's his face?
What? Oh, Reynolds.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but he's not like a comic book writer.
Either way, I'm just gonna wait until the game comes out. I know I'm gonna play it. It's gonna be fun, decent. Like, hopefully, at least.
I have to see a bit more, but I'm gonna do it just because it's the Batman game, and all I do is superhero stuff, anyways. Who am I kidding?
We're all getting Gotham. Like it's no matter what we're gonna say. Like you guys can, audience, you can. I can tell you, games. Everyone here is gonna buy that game no matter what happens. Like there's no way none of us are not buying Gotham Knights.
I'm gonna do it. Like if I bought that game, I have to do them all. But. And then with Suicide Squad, we'll talk about it once we get some gameplay footage. The trailer seems all right.
I just feel like that's a game forcing multiplayer for no reason.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's like both. It's like, we've been pushing Suicide Squad for some weird reason in movies and comics. Let's make a game, and then screw it, let's make it co-op. And then, I don't know. I don't think co-op when I think Suicide Squad.
Like I said, I think that was WB saying, hey, we want co-op in this, and Rocksteady said okay. And that's why it's taken so long. Because it was 2015 when Arkham Knight came out, so you're looking at like 6 years later, it's taken this long for a game, because for the first time they're putting in that type of design style. They never
showed anything off. There was so many months and years where they were like, we're not going to show our game at E3.
Yeah.
It better be like stunning then, you know what I mean? Like ready to go.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm just going to wait till it releases, and if it's good, then I'll play it.
A lot of things, like it's one of those things at the same time it's going to sell because it has the Rocksteady name on it, and they did earn at least, like, you think about it and go, there's 3 really amazing Batman games. So there's no track record showing that there's no reason not to buy it at the same time, even if it is like the co-op and the concerning things about like the future of the DC games afterwards. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting, you know, if it's versus the Justice League and whatnot, if you got to control maybe a member of the Justice League or something, and it's kind of the first taste of what it'd be like to play as them, and then see if they expand from there. But I don't know. But it's kind of crazy. We have so much more from Marvel than Warner Brothers right now. And it just shows that continued success of everything Marvel's doing in that sense.
And the different strategy styles they have.
Yeah, totally. Just way more broad and whatnot. So I don't know. There's a lot going on. And as much as I miss like the old crappy based on movie games like Batman Begins and The Punisher,
I don't miss those at all.
I don't miss those at all.
I think there's so much fun.
Never take us back to that time. That was a terrible time.
The Punisher game was cool.
Punisher game was so fucking dope. And like that, and I don't know. I think I've just been like I'm turning into that old guy that just wants to play like games from my childhood and new games. I'm just like
new things just completely stop with you, and you're just like, oh yeah, these old things.
Give me that '92 Spider-Man game. You know what I mean? Like, but man, I think that kind of covers it for all the games coming out. They're superhero based.
Wait. I mean, we could speculate if there's actually an Injustice 3 some more, and then Shredder's Revenge.
I thought we already did speculate on Injustice 3.
Yeah, we did speculate that.
It was like a second.
No.
What else did you have?
Speculated. Yeah, do you have anything else on that?
I personally think they shouldn't make it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an
I don't think that's
ongoing
speculation.
game
That's just that's just an opinion.
Well, yeah, that's just an opinion. But
yeah.
On the topic, I think they shouldn't. I think they should just move on from the IP.
Really? I kind of dig it. I don't know.
I do too, but like when you play Injustice 2, it kind of just wraps things up. And it's just like they're going to continue it, but there's like no need in my opinion. And then like if you're going to make a WB like DC fighting game, I feel like we should move to something else. I'm kind of like I feel like Danny in the sense where I'm like I'm kind of over the evil Superman thing.
Oh yeah, no for sure.
Oh, that
but it's like
the evil Superman thing. Batman's got to take him down.
I mean that they don't necessarily have to go in that same direction or continue that part of the storyline. They could do something totally different and add a whole new element to that world.
The whole story's like wrapped around that. It's just kind of like
but I mean,
Superman.
Yeah, but they could do something else where they like just change the main point of the story. It doesn't have to be Injustice in the sense of like evil Superman. They could totally bring things in a different direction and start with a whole different set of characters, and that's just like in the past at that point, and kind of evolve that world a bit.
I just want them to commit to like Batman. If they're gonna do Batman shit, they might as well just commit to a Batman fighting game. I mean, fuck it. I'd be down to play as like I don't know, Ra's al Ghul or something.
Oh, kind of like instead of doing Marvel vs. Capcom, you have X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and you're like, this is much more specific.
Right?
No,
yeah.
Not even. Just like a fighting, like, commit to like a character's mythos, I guess, in a way. Or like, you could do like a Superman fighting game, I guess. But if you did like a Batman one, it could really work. You have like a pretty decent amount of characters to choose from. They already
but then
have,
we're going
like,
back into the mess of like everything's Batman. At least Injustice does give you a diverse set of characters.
We said that we know they are. They might as well just commit.
It's just so funny. It's like, man, they have way too much Batman. Hey, what do you want them to do?
Yeah,
Batman.
Right
over.
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem, Brandon. You're part of that society now.
It comes back to that commitment. Like, you give us Injustice, and I could play as Bane, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Batman, Robin. I mean, if you include the first one, Nightwing.
Well, it's also he has the richest like world of characters, so of course he's probably going to outweigh the rest of them with like, oh, who do you want to bring from the Flash? And it's like they brought, I think, Captain Cold and Grodd and
you get Swamp Things and Tana, Martian Manhunter,
Hellboy, and Superman, and the other Superman characters.
I'm way happier with a huge diverse. Bring a whole new set of characters in. Like, give us.
I'm just saying, if they're gonna make more Batman shit, we might as well get a Batman fighting game. That's what I'm saying.
Oh. I mean, it's an Injustice already. I don't know. I don't agree with that too much. I like the diverse like set.
I don't know.
Well, just
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Just evolve the world. It's only been 2 games. You're acting like it's been a whole franchise.
Yeah.
But if you change everything, then you don't have the initial Injustice story. The whole thing is Superman basically taking over the world.
It's like Star Wars is the prequels are still Star Wars. You know what I mean? Clone Wars is still Star Wars.
You could still do more. Like, who knows what they could still bring in another villain, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Superman.
It could do anti-monitor stuff and go kind of cosmic in that sense. They could do more fourth world
because it's already the world established.
Yeah, the world's established, and they could, relate it to the title still.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you're a writer. You know how this works. You know how world building is.
What I'm saying is, I don't want to be in the Injustice world. I think the story's done. Just move on. That's what I'm trying to say.
What if it comes out? Are you gonna buy it?
Yeah, you're gonna buy it.
Because if you don't buy it, then you're showing your support of moving on. If you buy it, then you're showing that you want more.
Kamran, just shut up. Look, what I'm trying to say is,
he's right though. I'm sorry. I gotta back up.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to bend down. He's gonna be too proud.
No, you're asking me. I told you. I just think like the Injustice story is done. It doesn't need to be milked. They already made the movie about the same thing, and it's just like the story's done. They made a paradox. They made a paradox for themselves, if anything. They went back in time in the second one and stopped everything from happening.
All right, then don't support it.
There you go. Now it's a whole new world.
There you
go. That's the new story. It's all different now.
No, all new, all different. Oh wait, that's a different
company.
You go.
I just think they should move on to something else entirely and just not with the Injustice name.
We're gonna have 10 Injustice games. We're gonna be like 50.
You know how long how long it took to just get 10 Mortal Kombat games? You know how long it's gonna take to get 10 Injustice games?
Well, yeah.
When did Mortal Kombat start?
Years,
the 80s or the early 90s? That's like,
I think
oh my god,
90. It's like 92.
Yeah, so that's
30 years.
Like, yeah, I don't think it'll be that long. You know?
All no, right. I think we'll get maybe a third installment if they do it. I think that's when they'll stop. I think that's when they'll be like, all right, we'll do something new. I mean, we're lucky we got 2 of them.
What's the next Warner Brothers
3.
property? Here's the Matrix. Matrix fighting game.
Matrix versus Superman.
Yeah,
it's the Matrix versus DC.
Oh god.
So, what set of characters would you want a game based on in either universe, Brandon?
For like a fighting game or just any game?
No, in any game, just a game. Like what characters do you want to play as?
It's Daredevil game, hands down.
I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah. What about you, Kamran?
For which one?
No, just choose like a set of characters. It doesn't matter what. Like,
Marvel, honestly,
you get one. You only get one. Just tell me one.
Oh, then Aquaman game, yeah.
You already got an Aquaman game for PS2.
Yeah, so an Aquaman game.
Yeah, I mean, you love Aquaman. You should go buy it.
I don't think that would count. It's not going to give money to developers. It was from the PS2.
No. I don't care. You got to go buy it.
Would it be like a
never make any sense
game? You're a fake fan. That's all it is.
You're an illogical man.
Yeah.
You and your red Batman.
That was imagine Sea of Thieves Aquaman. That's what I want.
That's not what I was talking about at all.
That's exactly what I pictured.
You're not
I just want an underwater action game. That's all I want. There's so much you could do. Honestly, I'm imagining Uncharted underwater with like crazy. It's like God of War and Uncharted had a kid. And it's just underwater.
I guess you could have like land-based missions and whatnot.
Yeah,
too.
But you could also explore all the different kingdoms. It could be like completely different for each area and all this stuff. And there's still like the human characters and Manta and whatnot. There's a lot you could do. And, I wouldn't expect a whole franchise out of it. I'd be fine with one game if they really wanted to put everything in it. But yeah, I think it'd be great, honestly. But yeah, I'd probably pick an Aquaman game. If it was Marvel, though, yeah, an X-Men game, of course.
There's plenty of those.
I think I would do a horror Constantine game, like a scary, intense, like Constantine.
It's just
game.
like, what am I trying to think of right now? Silent Hill,
yeah.
Style.
Oh yeah, like it's like a scary ass Constantine.
Some fucking thing comes out. It's like, oh, I love our company. That would take away the horror. He's probably just like.
Oh my god. Yeah, so the one that Brandon just sent us the link for Battle of Atlantis. I've talked about this on the show before. This is the game where you stand around and his hair bobs. Like it's just like a wave little bob. When
they put all the budget into it?
It's the goofiest thing. They put a lot of... You could shoot your hook out and it stabs people.
Oh, we're talking... Oh, it's this Aquaman. We're talking about one hand hook. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, guys, that's the current status of Marvel.
Wait,
DC.
you forgot the most important one.
Which one?
God, Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
All right, talk about it. I don't know anything about that.
It's a side-scrolling beating 'em up. That's all.
Wow. Wow.
Man, you just give a shit about Injustice 3 and you fucking
It's a game where you
just end it with that.
For those, I actually looked it up.
So mad over that.
Tribute
like,
Games
literally...
is developing it, and it's being published by .emu, and it's coming out in 2022.
Yeah.
Is it on mobile? It's a mobile game, isn't it?
No, it's like a pixelated game.
It's gonna be on mobile though.
Is it? I have no idea.
I bet you.
Actually.
I wouldn't doubt it. That's
I
all.
I
know it's gonna be on.
It was going on. I didn't care enough to look up and be honest.
Let's see.
If you guys had to choose one story arc to base a Batman game off of, what would it be?
Batman Beyond. I just want a Batman. Like,
Sold. No,
Yeah.
no argument. No, I was just like, you're right.
There's a bunch of others I probably want to do. Like, but
can I get a
Batman Beyond?
Can I get that Batman game where you wrestle Bane, but Bane has no clothes on? Do you remember that? You guys don't remember that?
What was that? That was a thing,
Bro,
too,
that
right?
was.
Yeah.
I think you were playing on Pornhub.
Man, you guys are some fake fans. I just called you out. You really don't remember this?
No.
You don't remember
Yeah,
this?
no, that sounds familiar.
I
You're
don't.
fucking with me, right?
Oh, that was Tom King stuff, dude. God damn it. Of
Yeah,
course.
and Thomas Wayne wrestles Bane with no
Oh,
clothes
I thought
on.
you said a game. I'm like, what game are you fucking talking about that has this?
I thought you were talking about.
I literally thought you were talking about a
wrestling
game. I'm
Tom
like,
Dad.
what is he on right now? I'm like, was this a PS2
Have
thing I
you-
didn't know about? Like, what is this
Bane
one of the?
naked?
Is this why I didn't buy PS2 superhero games? Was this? Yeah.
Or really, like, if they do, I just
think
want
Bane was
everything
just
that
angry
Donny
because
Cates
Thomas
done.
Wayne always had his pants on. He never took it off.
I think I don't know, but Brandon will agree with me. But I think everything Donny Cates has done should just be a game and a movie. And
I think
a
like
figure.
a really not honestly not Venom. I can honestly see like a
Silver
pretty
Surfer.
cool
Where you
Silver
fight
Surfer.
Noel.
I feel like it'd be hard. I don't know how you
Silver
simulate, like,
Surfer
flying through
VR
space.
dodge game. Whoa!
Yeah,
I'm so fucking calm,
guess.
bro.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
It's just Beat Saber with
think-
Silver Surfer.
I think like a Thor game with like the cosmic element of his
Yeah.
Johnny Cane's room would be cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'd be dope. Or
He's
like even
already
some
in a
Immortal
game.
Hulk,
We're getting him in Ragnarok. We're good.
Ragnarok.
We're gonna fucking kill Thor.
You know, I don't know. We just need a Spawn game again, which we'll
No,
get.
we
I'm sure
don't.
soon,
No,
because
stop.
everything's
It's not
blowing
even.
up.
That's Marvel.
that.
That's not Marvel
No.
or DC. You're cheating now.
Yeah.
I would say though, if
No.
we could, besides Batman Beyond, I would want a straight up actual like detective game that's like Long Halloween style, like Long Halloween based, where you're like
Yeah.
Oh, I
you're
can
going
see
in
that.
and
No,
solving shit.
If we're being honest, like for a Batman story arc, I think I forget which one it is. What's the one where he fights, or the Neil Adams one where he fights Neil Adams?
Fights Neil Adams.
No,
You have to
Batman
fight
game.
through the fourth
Neil
world.
Adams.
Neil Adams is
trying
all
to say
shirtless
Ra's
with a
al Ghul?
sword, like
Ra's al Ghul?
There's that yeah, where he fights him in like a death tournament or something.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna picture Raish in that.
So
But,
it's
like,
like
what I'm
a,
I'm just
saying
gonna
is
picture
you want the
Neil
fighting
Adams
game.
shirtless.
No, what I honestly do, because you know what I was trying to say honestly was that like DC's gonna push a Batman game specifically.
yeah.
And I think honestly, like if you are, I would like to see a Batman fighting game with like Batman characters.
No, fuck that, dude. You know what we need is Batman, like, kind of Uncharted, going on those adventures. Imagine him going through the desert and then meeting up with Raish and solving that, like, mystery and being in Egypt and shit. Like, imagine that, going to the Lazarus pit and all that type of stuff.
That
Yeah,
would be cool. Yeah,
that'd be
Or,
dope.
like,
And you're just, like,
or
shirtless, just, like, climbing up rocks with your cowl
really
on.
sweaty. Yeah.
Really sweaty, great chest.
You have like the God of War
lots of
mini
hair.
game where you're like, oh hey, what's up, Talia? I'll go. Let me
Yeah.
make a spot hit the floor.
But
My
I only say
vibrations.
that because I feel like there's certain Batman characters that are like laughable and also really awesome ones that would work for like a
Wait,
fighting game.
Real fast, just to bounce back to Cameron's idea, and that way, if you bang Talia, at the very end, it reveals that Damien is born. But if you don't bang Talia, Damien isn't born.
You also
So
have
you
to
get some
time it
choice.
perfectly with that quick time minigame as well. If you don't do it, it's not going to be.
I mean,
Maximum.
DC's trying to be as edgy as possible, so I wouldn't put it
Yeah.
past them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like I think like there's certain characters that you'll never see in like a DC fighting game that would be awesome to have.
Condiment King, I agree.
Oh yeah,
honestly,
Condiment King.
yeah, no, seriously,
Hell
as
yeah.
like a joke character, that'd be hilarious. Or even like badass characters like Lady Shiva.
What if they did
yeah.
a Batman Adam West style fighting game and he's fighting those villains? So it's
even
more
better,
classic.
dude.
Even better.
Dude, can you imagine? You get to
Pow.
choose. Like, think about
Whap.
it. You get to choose like Riddler, Catwoman,
Tutankhamun.
and Penguin. You know, like
Literally a mummy.
and then yeah, exactly. And I think like again, what I was trying to say is like, you know, if they're gonna make a Batman game, I think using the characters for a fighting game would be really awesome and hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Like
could do
yeah,
that.
Condiment King, or I don't know, who's like Kite Man.
Kite
Can you
Man
imagine?
would
No,
be-
he's AAA now, man. Now that you've had Tom King run him,
Yeah.
he's A grade.
Yeah,
he's
he's
in
up
an
there.
animated
Well, yeah,
feature now.
now I want Kite Man in a game. Can you imagine how hilarious that would be too?
That would be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Actually.
saying. Like, I think like it could work because they've already
Yeah, I
put
want that
like
as a skin. I want to fly around a city.
I want to do I want to do a Batman speed game where you have to keep beating the Clock King's time. Where he's like, you have to get here in this time. You keep beating your score.
Oh my god, yes, that's
Clock King Trials, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
And you also have
Just
the
like
glow in
it,
the
guys.
dark Tony Hawk skateboard is in this one too.
it's just like that bad Superman game where you just fly through rings the entire time.
Yeah, it's like
super
Spyro or
duper wow. I don't think he
Yeah.
says that, but that's what I would put in the game.
Well, guys, that is our Marvel feels, DC thoughts, and our video game wants. So, you know, actually, it's actually looking pretty good now that I really look back at it. I can't complain about too much. Like, I thought I'd be way more distraught, but now I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna complain about it, but I'm gonna end up getting it all anyways, no matter what. So, but yeah. Any last words?
You know, with everything with the way like pop culture's been lately, I really mean it when I say like I kind of want to just like cool down from all this. Like, it's too much of a good thing. You wanted a good Batman game, you wanted a good Spider-Man game, we got them, and there's plenty of other characters we want. But now it's just like every year it's always been like that too since video games practically existed.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of ties into like why I wouldn't want Injustice 3, because you know I'm tired of like a Superman being evil story, or there's always like, unless it's Arkham, it's just kind of mediocre superhero games minus Spider-Man. So it's just I'd rather just have nothing for a couple of years. It just makes it more impactful if you were to honestly
Spread it out.
spread
Really
it out.
spread
Yeah,
it out.
like can you imagine if you waited, you know, they stopped superhero games and then you wouldn't get a single one for like 4 years from now? How much more like thoughtful it would be to have something like that?
I mean,
Like
we
a
didn't have
dope
any DC games
Daredevil
for
game?
5 years, technically. So
That's not a bad thing necessarily.
I know. I'm just saying, we already had that though.
What was the last one to come out?
Arkham Knight in 2015.
Yeah, you saw.
When
the
did
Bond.
Injustice 2 come out?
Huh?
No, Injustice 2 was 2017.
Oh right, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forget to count fighting games, honestly.
And
Well,
then
anyways.
and then wasn't there a Lego game that Villains? No.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
the
counting.
leg. There is.
Not
Oh
counting.
no, the
That is
Lego,
true,
the
though.
Lego.
What I'm saying is like it's just like the movies. It's just getting like overinflated and bloated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where you could
And-
hear our episode where we talk about too much hype or too little for all these cinematic experiences. Throw a plug into my own show.
So yeah, that's all. I mean, I love superheroes, of course, but sometimes I just want to keep it to comics for the time being.
Yeah, I agree. And they're actually making some great progress and stuff, which we're hyped about. But Kamran, what are your final thoughts on our video game industry?
Um.
And you can hear more on Sutro Sidetalk.
Wow.
So guys, that okay.
No, I think Marvel knows exactly what they're doing. You're not going to see them stop at all with it, and they have a lot of. You can kind of tell by the way they've been handling it with developers that it's going to be more obscure things potentially for certain developers, and maybe more mainline with others that are bigger in AAA. Whereas Warner Brothers, I'm looking at potentially. Like I said, I'm just cautious because. You know, these next couple games are very multiplayer oriented, and I don't know what happens after. And at the same time, these games will come out next year. and we're not going to know what they're doing for probably another 3 years after that.
That's
so we're
true.
not seeing anything from them until like 2025 in terms of maybe like a teaser, unless you count another fighting game, which I personally I don't, but
I mean, they're still video games, so
yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like from the mainline stuff, you're not really. It's going to be a while, and it's hard to.
Yeah.
You're just speculating on something you're not going to know for years, and that's always hard knowing it's not going to be for years until you know something's actually going to happen.
Yeah, the way they just announce and cancel stuff, anyways, like who knows? But yeah, I mean, I'm in the same fields. You know, I'm kind of like I don't think there's an overload in video games personally, but I just wish there was more diversity in characters, and that's like my biggest, want and complaints in that sense.
Yeah, because we have our Spider-Mans and Batmans. That's kind of it, though.
Yeah, like that's really it. Like, give us, dude, if they give us a Sandman game for this show, I'm fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, why hasn't that been thought up yet? But Spawn's always the winner on that one.
I'd be so down with like a Green Arrow game where you have to like almost Far Cry style like survive on an island the island,
right?
But like Oliver Queen goes back, he gets stranded there, and he's like it's like a manhunt where you're like hunting him down, and you kind of survive on the island. Like that'd be dope too. I love
Super
Green
dope.
Arrow as a character, and I think something like that could be so. It's such an easy concept to implement into a game, but just put the little like Green Arrow skin on it, and it'd be sick. Just throw just throw like the punching boxing glove arrow in there for shits and giggles too. Like,
yeah, dude, that'd be amazing. Like, that'd be super dope. Well, nice. Guys, that was a very extensive video game talk. It hasn't happened in a while. It's all been bottled up for a bit. It's been over a year. But I mean, what are your thoughts? What games are you guys excited for? You let us know and post it in the comments, shoot us a message. But Kamran, where can they find your stuff?
You can find my stuff at Sutro Sidetalk on any podcast platform. We have, of course, our weekly show there, as well as Sutro Side Watch, which Brandon Blocksdorf is on, where we do movies every other week. And The Cut of Steel, which actually Brandon Moncada and I just did an episode on the state of DC Comics. That's episode 10. And episode 11 in October will actually be on DC Fandom, so we'll have more answers on Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League there. And then also Up to It, Down to It, which also comes out monthly. So, yeah. And we're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all at Sutro Sidetalk.
Nice. And you know where to find us. Check out our YouTube. Check out Coffee and a Comic. Check out Lesser Known Comics. And this is episode 96. So we have an awesome interview coming out next week. And our last 3 episodes as we wrap up the road to 100. Guys, thanks for hanging.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.